Welcome back to another Storytime with Pumpkin. I believe it's only been a few weeks since the last one, and just like then, I have a different game again. And I believe the last time you ever saw Rocket League on this channel would have been like, what, 2 years ago? And it's simply been that I actually just haven't played since. But I've been back since around the end of January, so it's been a couple of months. Now, something I do like about the game is just how you can see your improvement over time, and compared to a couple of weeks ago even, I wasn't able to speed flip, and now I'd say I can. I gave up at first since I thought it was a keyboard and mouse issue, but anyway, that's kind of besides the point. Something you've got to bear in mind is a couple of years ago, my peak was around Champ 1, but skill-wise, maybe like Diamond 2 to 3. The only reason I got to Champ, I'd say, was probably because I was consistent, so I hardly ever messed up what I was capable of doing. And the thing is, I'd say around all of these kind of ranks, maybe between Plat and Champ or something, the ego so many players have is actually insane. For some reason, especially if you're doing solo queue, teammates get real angry real quick. Which brings me to this game, which was maybe 2 or 3 weeks after returning. You may notice that I've hidden the names. I thought it was just best to do that, given what the topic is. So this is 3v3. Normally I play 2v2, so maybe the mistake was playing 3v3, I have no idea. But rank-wise, I think this was around Diamond 1. Not high at all. I must say, it actually is weird seeing people without the names above them. But I mean, yeah, as you can see, right, I'm messing up. But as a whole, like, if you look carefully at what other people are doing, they're not exactly playing amazingly either. But we already scored straight off the bat. I have no idea why it shows the score the other way around. This is just how replay is. I mean, there we go. That's a pretty good defense on my part. And I also blocked through a goal there. And I mean, that led to another goal. So overall, I'd say I'm actually playing relatively well. Not so amazing. I get a demo on someone. That was actually pretty smart on my part, to be fair, because they might have been going on the attack. At least I'm not missing a ball, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's all going well. I don't see why. Right. Never mind, it worked out fine. I actually forgot the point of when it happens, I'm not gonna lie. It has been a while. Maybe here? Ah, here we go. So there we go. I messed up, right? I didn't react in time to that. That's what set it all off. And in fact, the person who got toxic at me is the other car you see on the screen right now, who's one of my teammates. Unfortunately, I can't actually remember what was said. It wasn't a simple what to save or anything. It was like actual text chat, you know, someone actually unhappy. Okay, that wasn't so amazing on my part, and that doesn't help, because that person who's getting toxic is probably getting even more angry from that right now. And there we go, I have a shot there. They do not say a single thing. I wonder why. That was an awkward touch on my part, but it still wasn't too bad. We had someone in defense there. I mean, overall, it looks like I'm playing okay. I actually do a pass. None was there to get it, though. And that was a very satisfying hit, I'd say. The replay ended there because the enemy is forfeited. It's quite a quick game, wasn't it? At this point, they did a complete 180. They then started saying, oh, good job, things like that, right? But I find it crazy. I mess up one time, and that alone set them off into just seeing the game in a completely different way. I say maybe missed the ball, what, like 3 times that entire match? And in fact, how about we look from their perspective, see how the game was for them. Let's see how they played. Okay, they went for demo, so quite smart play on their part. Interesting. What are they doing? I have no idea what their jump in there was. Oh, they scored! They're the one to do kickoff. What on earth was that? I'm not sure if their move, I mean it worked out, but did they not also do a risky move there? Was it not on them to maybe have perhaps gone up the wall and contested the ball? Like if they're allowed to criticise me, surely I should be allowed to criticise their gameplay. Bear in mind this is threes, there was someone else in goal. I have no idea what they're doing right now. They're just... Right. Okay. Ooh. Ooh, they're missing the ball quite a bit, huh? And then, yeah, that's what they saw when they started getting toxic. Okay, they have a weird kickoff, I'm not gonna lie. Not bad try. I don't know what they were trying to do, maybe a pass. Remember, this is the dead silent part. I left them to shoot that, not to miss that. And then leaves an open net. Oh, sorry, right. God, the name tag's not being there throws me off so much. Passed to them, but didn't work out. I don't necessarily blame them for messing up. And then yeah, that's the end of the game again, as we remember. So what's the point of them being toxic at all? And of course, Rocket League isn't the only game I play with this kind of stuff. I'm not about to pretend a game like Dead by Daylight, for example, doesn't have toxicity. In fact, literally last week's video showed a bit of toxicity on Dead by Daylight. It's just that I feel like it's more apparent on Rocket League because it's always like a live chat, you know? That's my best guess anyway. So this might be the first story time where there's no real learning experience. It's just I actually don't understand. Because all that happens is you start playing worse. Because especially on Rocket League, I have sometimes felt annoyed by people being toxic or whatever, even though quite a lot of the times it can look like they're playing much worse than I am. From getting annoyed in those kind of ways, it usually then just ends up causing you to play worse. There have only been a few times, and it's usually against the enemies being toxic, where I then start playing better. So actually, rather than a learning experience, maybe there's just a message to be said from this. The only thing toxicity brings is more toxicity. I suppose it's like that saying of fight fire with fire and the world goes up in, is it flames or smoke or something? And to be honest, I don't think anything else really needs to be said. So, I'll see you all in the next one.